Again, sometimes what we read, this is for Rifan and also for anybody else, students or friends from campus, academician. Sometimes whatever that we read in the media media tend to exaggerate, what they're finding, or they just want to pick one or 2 words to sell their stories. So be careful on do your research based on media. There's one thing. Otherwise, you will be you have a wrong perception before you even know what is happening. So this again, that's why I make this discussion to make so that the people that involved in this industry can really tell to each other, hey, no, it's not what happened. This is what is actually happened. That's why also I invite academicians more and more, and also students from campuses to join, so that we can share the industry can share the story to them. What is behind the news that they've been reading. So so that they can make really good sense of what is happening in this industry. Anybody else want to, or John, you want to add more? You can. We plan to stop the discussion maybe about 5:15. So we have another or less than 10 minutes if you want to add anything. Or Indra, you want to ask? Indra.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, boss. I just want to make a little bit comment on this one. So I think we need to realize that deforestation is we cannot avoid that, right? It's a part of development of human being and what's the need in the countries. So the questions, but in the same time, you also want the what is it, diversity still intact, right? So my questions or the problem is we should how we can live together. It's like deforestation again cannot stop, but at the same time you also need the diversity intact. So I think we need to find a way how this can work together, right? We cannot simply say that, okay, stop deforestation and give all the priority to orangutan, right? Orang biasa also need to live. So it's not just orangutan. So the question is, we always say that deforestation, change it to palm, change it to whatever. There's the same thing. It's always deforestation. Then that always happen. History will tell us, right? So until when we say to ourselves, saying that stop deforestation and sacrifice the human being, or deforestation is enough, and then that's why we need to find a way to live together on this kind of issue.
Well, yeah, Indra, I have another theory on that. Why is now deforestation? Because we want to grow, we want to develop, we want to become advanced country. We want to become, I mean, look at Europe, look at US. They all grows based on agriculture land. 40-50% of their land is on agriculture, right? And exactly. We are trying to reach there, but they said that no, you have to conserve the forest. It's just their way to say that you cannot grow. We we are the only one that can grow. So maybe Pietro is not agreeing with this.
No, I mean, Togar, again, it becomes too long and philosophical, and I think we started from biodiversity with what Michel said. And but we can't just keep the discussion on the orangutans because one of the elements I didn't mention before, again, when we have an emotional approach to orangutans or tigers or any species, we have a very stereotypical idea of what this is about. We look at Indonesia from here as a place where there are bad people going around hunting or killing. We don't have a more articulated understanding of what happens there. We don't have an understanding of the relationship between the local species and human beings. And I'm in Tuscany right now, and I can tell you that around here they go around with rifles and they kill wild bear, wild boar. They kill rabbits. They kill anything that moves around. But that's another matter. I agree on the deforestation perspective. It's a matter of development, but we cannot and we can no longer use this argument, particularly at the European level. Otherwise, it becomes a clash. What I think you are in a position to do so, you are in a position to say you have hundreds of millions, because you guys are 250 million plus Malaysia, plus part of Thailand, Philippines, and wherever you have palm plantation, Africa, think about Central America. And one thing is to fight poverty, and the other thing is to how to give food to 7.6 billion people. That's the starting point. It's not about just defending the planet, it's about how to defend the planet by nurturing the planet. And what is the best way to nurture the planet? And I think that the Lancet study is pretty clear about that. And you need ingredients that can balance the nutritional aspects and they can balance sustainability. And palm oil today is, among some, is one of the best. So the point should be, as long as we don't have alternatives to that, palm oil is the one on which we should invest. RSPO is investing on that. Many organizations are investing on that. And I think that's the path that should be followed. If there is no alternative to palm oil, then palm oil is the way forward. I don't have an interest. I don't have a plantation. So for me, if there is an alternative to palm oil, Indonesia should pursue that alternative to palm oil. But now there is no alternative. So I think that if we need to give food to 7.6 billion people, 10 billion in 20 years from now, we need ingredients, nutrients. And on the other side, we need to make sure that they can grow sustainably. And I don't think you should come to Europe and say, well, you did this, we can do it too. I understand it, but you should say you did it and we are paying the price, but at the same time, we need to grow and we need to work together to find a way to do it in a sustainable way and work on that. The farm to fork is a great opportunity as long as it becomes a multilateral table, not a colonialist table. We think this is right and you should do it, as Europe tend to do. It's very funny that we are having all this movement about, anti-slavery movement, but at the same time, we're going around dictating how people should act. So we should have an open discussion. Come to Europe. That's why we're having a seminar now on sustainable nutrition, on labeling and claims, and because our point is that there should be an open table that, of course, defends the 27 European countries. And in Europe, there are many different positions: rapeseed, sunflower, olive oil. It's a big fight, particularly right now with the virus. They all need public money, and Europe has to give money. And of course, palm oil comes from outside, so it's the first one in the list to be canceled. But I think that the diplomatic work should be to come to Europe and say, you have this great idea of the farm to fork. You have the great idea of the Green Deal. We love this. We support this, but we need to sit around the table. It cannot be a unique perspective from Europe. It has to be a multilateral perspective, because the majority of the population, let's say the one that is polluting the world, is not in Europe. So you can't dictate a position from the European side. And I think that all the discussion, beautiful discussion we have here with Michel, with John, with Bart, has to be brought to the table in Brussels. And of course, our effort is as well to provide the correct information. The study that was mentioned by Michel at the beginning by Gatti is not a scientific study. A set of ideas.
You're losing you.
It was published, and immediately there was a lobby and group of people, pushing and putting headlines and doing their job. And that's what we have to face. It's reality. We have to face that reality. So we need people like Michel, Bart, John, and so on, and take their thoughts and bring their thoughts in an effective way to the table in Brussels. But it has to be a common effort, and has to be. I know it's a long effort, but again, if we say we should avoid, and sorry to repeat it, but I need to reiterate this, we can't say you did it, we can do it. I understand it, but we should say you did it, we pay the price for that. We are not.
We can do better.
Doing it. We can do it better in a balanced way. If you look at the since it was mentioned a few weeks ago in the media, because it was, I think, 2 years or 4 years, I don't remember, of the encyclica by the Pope. And, the Pope is the green, the Pope is environmentalist. But as I said multiple times, and there is a key point in that encyclica where the Pope, and, in the church, there is a strong community of Africans. And in Africa, you have palm plantations, and people use the palm plantation to survive. He says it has to be a balance between the environment and human needs. So we need to find that balance. And today, palm oil is clearly one of the best in, representing this balance. And I think we should bring this argument to the table. Sustainable palm oil, yes. When I talk about palm oil, it's always certified sustainable. I'm not saying which certification, certified.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have come to 5:18. I think, Michel, if you want to have a closing remark or the last message from you before I close it, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think, boy, I wish we could talk longer because I have a lot to say. I think what we need to do is as this discussion has evolved to, is acknowledge what has gone wrong in the past, both in Europe as well as in the palm oil producing nations. Yes, there has been deforestation. We believe that we can move forward in a way that protects forests. We know from WRI that there's indeed a lot of millions of hectares of unforested land in Borneo alone that would be suitable for the expansion of oil palm. I think there's no reason why deforestation has to be part of the story moving forward in feeding the global community, as well as improving the livelihoods of the people in places like Indonesia and Malaysia. So I encourage that we uphold the no deforestation aspect of the standard in order to protect biodiversity. And we, with Gatti's latest missive, he's measuring deforestation some 30 years before we started talking about deforestation or having a standard, and thereby concluding that nothing can ever be sustainable because at one time, 30 years ago, 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, such land was covered with forest. I think that means we'll have to stop consuming just about everything that we consume today. So we need to put some balance in this conversation about what the future can look like, where sustainable palm oil fits in the Sustainable Development Goals, and it addresses so many of those. And those are the communications that we need to be sharing. We need to be measuring scientifically so that when we share them, there's some rigor behind it. And I just encourage everybody to make your voices heard, whether that is in Brussels, whether that is with GAPGI or the Malaysian government, or on Twitter, or with suppliers or buyers or whoever, have these conversations, get the right information out there, and help us see the transformation from conventional palm oil into sustainable palm oil that would deliver on protecting biodiversity.
Is that all, Michelle?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Like you said, if you can talk longer, we can talk about palm oil for hours from many different topics. This is what is usually happen with this discussion, that so many people that one speaker only. Yes, it's one speaker only and one topic only, and you can go from one topic to the other topics like wow. And as usual, we have to stop. Time, not allowing us to go on and on. But again, thank you for everybody who has joined for today's discussion. It's like I said, it's always very interesting to hear others' view and to learn that there are such things that we haven't known before, and this hopefully this discussion become eye opener for everybody, so they can branches their thought that palm oil is not just one simple things. There's so many issues, so many complex. So yes, for next month, again, I've mentioned on earlier. I hope Pietro will be glad to accept as to become next speaker for the August session.
When we are on holidays.
Oh, you are on holiday? Was it? Okay. I'll find another one.
I will. I can speak about.
Thank
and I
you.
know there is a big cachet. So.
Yeah, we can talk on the WhatsApp on that. So for the next month, and this session I plan to put into the YouTube channel, and to contact and for tomorrow, the next session will be in Bahasa, will be next Thursday. Starting the same time. This is my contact, on Twitter, Instagram. I haven't put the YouTube yet, but the YouTube channel is diskusi.sawit@gmail.com. You can follow that. Next session, the 19th, will be topics in Indonesia is kemitraan in the industry kelapa sawit, for the solution for the farmers, smallholders. July 16, July 16, 3:30 Jakarta time. But that one will be in Bahasa, so maybe some of you will not be able to join that. And once again, this will be. Thank you very much again. Thank you for joining the session. Thank you, Bart. Thank you, John, and Pietro and friends from Italy. From EPOA. Hopefully next month. Well, next month is summer, right? Okay. Okay. Some of you may be already on holiday, but hopefully you can join as Francesca is joining from Mediterranean island, right? And on this discussion.